What's up everybody, it's CC here and this is the Pack Progression YouTube. My boy Timo's gone today. This is going to be a video actually focused on me, Connor Cahill. I'm gonna go a little bit, I think it makes sense to kind of throw out a video about my background, give some context on like why I'm gonna be talking about the things I'm talking about and why I can talk about them. And just like the stories, the travels, the adventures, like it's been pretty crazy. So I really wanted to start sharing some of this stuff. I wanted to start like getting it out there. Hopefully people can learn from it, be inspired from it, and just know like the possibilities are kind of endless. It's like whatever you wanna do, if you got a vision and you work towards it, you can do it. So obviously the story didn't start here. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Please take a moment to scroll down, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications if you really care about us, and then leave a comment, man. Like I care about what you guys think, so do that and I'll be happy. Okay, back to the story. So for me, it all started smack in the middle of the US, in a town called Overland Park, Kansas. This is suburban Kansas, known as OP, JoCo, JC, lots of nicknames. Growing up there, I had always just kind of like, I wanted out. I wanted to be in a bigger city. I had a mentor that was, had a tech startup in the Bay Area, and that really like influenced me. Growing up, I was always like a pretty good student. I got A's and B's, like I worked hard and I wanted to get good grades. As my academic career progressed, I think about like junior and senior year, I started like messing around with other things like digital marketing, like Facebook ads, building websites, Google ads, and then like trading crypto. That time was like a big time for crypto trading. It was a hot time, 2018, that's the year I graduated. Also crypto popped that year. And so I was just really big on like these skills I was learning about and applying them and then making money. That got me hooked on the idea of like making money on your computer. And ever since I've been obsessed with this idea. I just think it's such an empowering thing that if I have a laptop, I have the ability to make money somehow. It doesn't matter how it is. I love that. So me going to school as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, whatever, making money and doing the digital marketing stuff, I really didn't care about what the teachers were assigning as work. Like for me, the A's and the B's and the C's anymore, like it didn't matter. I was like, I want to do other things. And this was when I started to realize like maybe college is not going to be right for me. My parents, they didn't think so though. They thought, they were not very happy about like when I first started saying I'm going to drop out, I'm going to move to San Francisco. They're thinking like, okay, our kid's nuts. What's he going to do? I don't know. Well, I did know the whole time. I had a plan. And guess what? I researched until I found an excuse to move to San Francisco. I figured out about these things called coding boot camps. Coding boot camps are pretty much just like a short-term, like intensive program that gives you the resources and some teachers to learn how to code. It's a lot more self-driven. When I went to one, I worked much more than when I was in the classes. So that was, I guess, August of 2018. After I graduated high school, I moved there. And it was pretty crazy. I moved to this place called the Tenderloin. And so coming from like the bubble of what was Overland Park, Kansas to the Tenderloin in San Francisco was an eye-opening experience. For those of you who do not know, the Tenderloin is probably not the cleanest nor nicest place in San Francisco. And it was just a totally eye-opening experience for me. There was like used heroin needles on the ground, like human feces everywhere, like more homeless people than I had seen in my entire life. I became pretty grateful and appreciative for that part of my journey just because I had not been exposed to that before. I hadn't been exposed to like real suffering and like what really happened. So that gave me an opportunity to like really see that stuff. I am happy for that. It was a lot of adjusting though. After that, I ended up moving a few more times around San Francisco, but that was, I think, the first 6 months I lived there. Outside of like my living, I learned a lot, you know, being independent and like adapting to that situation. I went into Make School, the program I went to, just like pretty hardcore. Like I was putting in such long hours, and then on top of that, like whatever meetup I could go to, happy hour, person I could meet, like project I could build, I was just trying to do whatever I could do. Like my whole goal was like, get the skills I needed to drop out and leave. Like that was it from day one. So about 8 months into the program, I ended up meeting my now COO, mentor, and good friend, Tom. when I ended up meeting Tom for coffee one time, we just started talking and we got to know each other, and then one thing led to another. He learned about my background. I knew a lot of the tools that Convessia was using, so I think a few talks later he was just like, what are you doing for work right now? I was like, I'm a student. He ended up offering me a job. I interviewed, I got the job, and the rest is history. It's been an amazing experience. I've loved just like working at a startup. I will do another video about this. I'll probably do as many videos as you guys want to see about it, but it's such an incredible experience, just like jumping around hat to hat, like doing so many different things. You learn so much. That I've got my degree from that. I know I've learned way more in 2 years than I think I could have learned in 4. So yeah, work at a startup, that's a side note. I will tell you though, like the first year of working for me, I think like 6 months is no joke. Like when you go from student to full-time professional, and then like on top of that, like you become financially independent, like your parents don't have to worry about finances anymore, you're doing it all yourself, you're living independent, you're dealing with work, like there's so many things that add up, it becomes so overwhelming. On top of that, I really dealt with imposter syndrome. I was like, I'm a dropout. Like, why did they hire me? Could they fire me? Would anybody else hire me? So like, there's just like the mental thing, made it really tough. Also, this gave me the opportunity to really like start to take advantage of the remote work life. I've been working remote forever. I've never worked in an office. And taking advantage of that is so incredible. I've spent 2 months in Asia. I've spent 3 months in Europe. I've traveled around the States a little bit. I've crashed on people's couches, and I've never taken a vacation day. Like I pretty much always work. I always do what's assigned to me. The work-life balance is so nice with remote work. I live for that freedom. It was also one thing that made me like fall in love with my job again and really appreciate it, was like all the travel I started doing. And with the travel, obviously, I met so many incredible people. Like that fuels me. I love meeting people. I love people. I love humans. So where is here? Right now I'm hanging out outside of Vegas at the Paceplay house. Paceplay is a startup that I'm a business development and marketing advisor for. Sound fancy? Yeah, it does. Coincidentally, Timo, my partner in Pack Progression, is the COO of Paceplay and one of the founding members. Timo had started Paceplay with his founding members, and I had always kind of like indirectly been helping them out. Like I'm a big fan of Timo, obviously. We do this thing together, and I would always give them advice if he had questions for me. And so eventually they reached out. They said like, would you want to solidify this relationship, turn it into an advisor role? And so now I've been with Paceplay officially now for like 4 months. I don't even know if it's that long. But yeah, I mean, it's a double bonus for me. I get to be an advisor, I get a fancy title, I get to help out my brother. Like it all works out. 3 months, I don't know, something like that. But that's been fun. We're building a very cool tool for creators, and that's why kind of like why we're starting this whole thing, is to be a customer of that as well. I'm excited to talk about that more too, but we'll leave that for another video. So what's next, I guess? We are Pack Progression. What is that for? What do we stand for? We're just about finding your people, find your pack, and progress together. Like find those people that are on the same mission as you, and get this thing done. Like progress and have fun doing it. It's the people around me that have really driven me. You are the average of your 5 best friends. I can tell you that. You're the average of the people you spend the most time with. And I have spent a lot of time with some people way smarter than me. And coincidentally, I got a hell of a lot smarter. Like I just saw myself spending time with these people, and next thing you know, like I'm adulting, I'm becoming more confident. Like that's who you're around, man. It really matters. With that, I really just wanted to say, if you're still listening, thank you so much. I don't really like to talk about myself for 10 minutes straight and summarize my whole story, but if you took interest in that, I appreciate it. I wanted to get that out there because if you have any questions or something you want me to talk about, please drop it in the comments. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on responding to people on Instagram and Twitter. And before I go, something I wanted to leave you guys with today, a bit of inspiration or something to light a fire under your ass. That's another reason I started this channel. I wanted to like give some motivation to those kids who back in high school felt like I did, or those people that felt like their goals were crazy, or people told them their goals were crazy. I gotta say, it's an incredible feeling. Like, I sit around sometimes and I think about like what I used to say and what I used to think in high school. I told people I was gonna drop out of college. I told people I was gonna join tech startups in San Francisco and make $1 million in my 20s and all these crazy things. And I really saw myself doing those things, but everybody else thought I was like kind of crazy for talking about it. Even my parents sometimes were like, like, you think too big. Like, you need to be more realistic. And I've heard realistic so many times. Now I look at where I am in my life and like, I love my job. I have incredible people around me. I've traveled the world. I've island hopped on yachts. It's just crazy. I dropped out of school. I work at a tech startup. I lived in San Francisco. Now I'm in Las Vegas. I've lived in LA. Like, I've been all the places, and it's like some of it's exceeded what I even like dreamed about, which has just blown my mind, honestly. Like, what it has shown me is like, if you have a vision, like you set goals and then you like work towards those every day. Like, I love that I get to learn new things every day and apply those new things every day. Like, if you do that and you have a vision, like, it's so crazy like what you can achieve. Like, my life 2 years ago was so drastically different than it is now, and I'm very grateful for it. So just do know that you can change your life very quickly. Yeah, that's your inspiration for the day. So thank you guys again. Bye-bye.